I honestly can't tell you which way these were supposed to be packed, whoever packed these. But it does tell me something, that some are put with the opening up and some are put with it down, that it's probably one way or the other it's supposed to be done, and whoever did it just threw them in any which way. Again, this box here was put in the giant box I showed you in the other video, okay? This box right here was put in the, and it got put upside down and everything else. So I'm checking each mug to make sure hopefully they're all right. It's not an exact science ordering things online. I will give you that. You know, you're always taking your chances. The Breaking Dawn CD, I was talking about that. I don't know why my mom wanted it when it only has one song. She wants 1,000 Years on it, but you know, she wants it, she wants it. It's not like, you know, she doesn't really spend money on anything, so. But it's just, I did explain to her, like, Mom, you can't get Christina Perri as the album with that 1,000 Years. You have to get the Breaking Dawn CD, and you might not like any song on it. It's not good. It's all different artists. I want it. All right. Anyhow, it had a crack. I told you in the other video. And again, this is not on the part of the delivery people. This is on the part of the packers. It's just common sense, again, to me anyway. I mean, call me crazy, but if you have CDs that are very fragile, you don't just throw them in a giant box that has all kinds of other heavy stuff in it and all whatever, and it's going to get shifted around. The delivery people throw boxes. I mean, I'm not. They should never be throwing them on people's things. Okay, FedEx has been, you know, cracked down. I mean, people have really. Okay, but I'm talking about just in general before they ever reach the destination, they get tossed around and stuff. It's common sense. You don't put that CD in that big box. That it's in. And two were at the bottom. Two were there were four of them, and one was cracked. I'm not even going to open it. It's cracked on the outside. I'm not even going to open it. I don't have to accept a cracked fucking CD. It's going back. Now I'm checking all these mugs, and then of course common sense. They're going in the dishwasher before we use them, you know. They look all right. They're pretty sturdy, but they're not going to last when they drop on the ground. Before my mom ever moved in here, I broke a couple out of 6, and then she broke, you know, we're down to 2. We're down to 2, so I got more. They're cheap, and we like them enough for the cheapness of them. They're $20 for 6, can't beat that. And I think they're made in the USA, and they're glass, and they're clear, and they're not like some stuff that people have warned. She bought some stupid stuff off one of her stupid friends or whatever. I won't get into it. It's not very nice to me, but my mom, you know, some made in China things, and this was after I read that you have to be really careful of that ink and the made in China or whatever. There have been problems. But needless to say, and Joe, you know, would agree 100%, this solid glass that's not any type of ink and any type of made in China or whatever, they're good. They're good. They're, I'll tell you what they're called. I'm going to put all these boxes out on the deck. So they wrapped okay, despite being put upside down inside this thing that separates them, and despite being put upside down by the post person who, you know, was trying to put the box standing straight up and wrapping it in plastic, but it's still, he did the plastic going down, he didn't make sure it was tucked under, so it still sat on my wet steps, the whole one side of that box. It just didn't sit out for very long, I'm sure, because they don't come that early. And I got up with Omar, and my mom was taking off, and she said, there's a box out there. I went, what do you mean there's a box? She didn't bring it in? She's like, no, it's too heavy. All right. I brought it in. Now I'm going back to bed. There's Omar. Oh, good. I guess we have 6 new mugs. It was sucking having 2. My mom and I both love those mugs. So if I'm looking for it, because it's 16 ounces and it's clear and I like it, and it's the only glass mug we have, and I don't particularly care for those other mugs, especially after I read about that thing. You should be very leery of those ink mugs that are made in China, and probably nothing fun is, probably nothing is wrong, but still, I like these glass mugs. They're 16 fucking ounces. They're awesome. Okay, they're called. Where's my paper? And I got all this crap. I should got the lanterns, got the urea cream, got the Safe Rest. 35,000 people have reviewed it, and nearly 5 stars. That's incredible. Got the 4 CDs. Lauren Daigle, Divide by Ed Sheeran, Stars Born, to Vaunt, to Beth Led, Camping Lanterns. We loved when we borrowed from the neighbors because they didn't want to take me. I told you that, I'll start not getting it again. My mom I got her to go down there. I had to get on her case. I'm just in bed, Laura. Mom, I'm not home in time. I missed the bus. I missed another bus. I had to charge, I had no phone to charge my phone. It was totally dead, okay? Now I have to walk home from the library, get your ass over to a neighbor's house. Just because you're in bed now, it's pitch fucking dark. I thought the electricity would come on by now. I didn't plan all of this, okay? We don't have a flashlight. And before it started to get dark, which we had maybe half hour or something, I said, go walk down to the neighbor's, Mom. I'm not going to come home and have you find out you've fallen in the pitch dark trying to go to the bathroom. See, she doesn't think. Just because it's not pitch dark, just because you're in bed now doesn't mean you have to go to the bathroom in the pitch dark. I'm being proactive here. As usual, trying to fucking protect you. But anyway, I told the neighbors I had to stop at the store and get batteries and all this crap. I wasn't going to ask them. I just wanted them to keep my mom safe. It was, it's people we know, but they, of course, wanted to go to bed and whatnot. And so the wife said, why don't I come pick you up at the library so you don't have to walk home? That would be fantastic. That would be absolutely wonderful. I had a long fucking day. I had gone to the doctors and got blood. I did all kinds of stuff that day. I forget what I'd done, but I'd done a lot. I think that was the day that I did the blood work and when I got the chest x-ray, make sure I didn't have TB, and my latent TB hadn't become active, which I always am afraid of that because I never did that 6 months of grueling, whatever you have to do to ensure that it's gone. Certainly wasn't going to do that when I was in that state, mental state, and homeless, and not even in California, no way, and whatever. I'll take my goddamn chances. But anyway, I said, but I need batteries for our flashlight. I still have to stop at the store. She's like, no, we have batteries you can borrow. And then in the end, they let us borrow these awesome fucking lanterns. But of course, as I told you, we have a bureau in our living room, and I almost completely blind, and nothing moves around in our living room. He knows better, but sometimes he gets disoriented. Like just this morning, or last night, whatever it was, he jumped up on the side of the couch, the arm, and had to fall backwards. Like, I can't protect him at every fucking second, just like you people have kids. You can't protect them every fucking second of your life. It's impossible. It's just simply impossible, okay? And I put the lantern up in that bureau, and my mom, after the fact, said he must have seen the light a little bit and leaped into that bureau because he leaped face first into the bureau, I'm like, holy shit, Omar. I watched it in horror. He leaped into that fucking bureau as if it were the couch. Oh, I'm not going to be here for much longer, but I wanted them to get rid of the goddamn bureau, okay? I'm trying to do everything do my best to protect this blind dog. That's why when my mom would get sick years ago when he first started going blind and whine, you won't let me walk Omar anymore, Mom. I'm not being mean. I've seen how I am trying to protect my dog. You have to be vigilant and observant, of which you are none. You are none of those things. And you have to pay close attention. He's blind. You can't let him poke into bushes and you know what I mean? All this crap you can't do when he's blind. You have to just protect him from himself, right? It's not like before when he could see. I'm not being mean, despite what you'll sit there and I'll eavesdrop and overhear you saying to your fucking ignorant friends. She won't let me walk over anymore. She's mean. She tells me I shouldn't get behind the wheel of a car again. She's mean. Just because she doesn't drive doesn't mean I can't. God help me from my mother's ignorant fucking friends who believe every word that comes out of her mouth. Takes it as the gospel truth. She never tells the whole story. Never, ever, ever. Nothing that's going to paint her in a negative light. Hey, no, I do not believe my mom, based on what I see, should ever be behind the wheel of a car again. In fact, the idea of it fills me with horror. And when I ran it by Selena, she's like, you gotta be kidding me. And then my mom gets all mad at me and Selena for saying it, okay? The idea fills me with fucking horror. I 100% believe that based on what I see, okay, you have to have good reflexes. You have to have observance. You know, you have to pay attention. Even though technically those meds she's on don't prevent her from driving, she should never be behind the wheel of a car again. And if she has ignorant people in her life who just want to coddle her and just want to, because they don't want to hear it from her and tell her what she wants to hear, whereas I am honest with her and tell her the truth, I become the bad guy. Okay, it's sickening. It's sickening. I told my mom a few years ago, I cried to my therapist, then therapist, right? And she said, there's ways you can stop it, right? Selena came up with something that no one ever told me. She doesn't believe my mom would even get insurance. You know, I'm like, there's tons of horrible drivers on the road who shouldn't be. And she's like, yeah, because they keep renewing their license, but they don't have to go in and redo it, Laura. I don't know. I get tired of it because it periodically happens where she starts taunting me and then she cries to her friends who are ignorant. Oh, you're going to cry to that one that she's gotten into so many accidents. She keeps, you know, she's hardly one. And I laughed my ass off when she had the one move in. One I couldn't stand, moved in with the other I couldn't stand. And then it's been how long? I don't know how long it's been, not that long. And she threw her out. Whatever. I don't know why my mom keeps these people in her life. I don't know what she gets out of it, but, you know, not my business. I told her before, if you have her come to visit, I will just stay in my room. It's your right to have her come visit, but it's my right to not be civil to her, you know, because of how she's treated me. When I stayed in that shelter years ago, she didn't want me in there for the sake of my mom or whatever, and she briefly let me stay with her, and I'd rather be in the shelter. That's how bad it was staying with her and her then husband, who's now dead, but, you know, it was awful. He was the one with the roving eye, and she blames the woman instead of blaming her guy, her man. Anyhows. I went off on a tangent without you seeing me. It doesn't matter. I don't even know why I went off on a tangent. I'm so tired. I need to go to bed. Miserable day out. I'm tired of my stuff being delivered in the fucking storm. You can't plan that. You cannot plan. Your stuff's not going to be delivered in a fucking storm, you know. But I said if my box ever arrived wet, I return everything, but I'm not going to, okay? I'm not going to return. I'm not going to be, you know, everything's fine in this Amazon box except the one that's cracked. The CD's cracked on the outside, which means it's probably scratched on the inside. And even if it's not, don't care, okay? That was on the part of the Amazon packer, not the delivery person. You don't throw fucking CDs in this box and they can move, shift all around and go upside down and everything else, okay? I'm surprised more didn't smash. 2 were at the bottom that the post person had put down on our steps. okay, because he didn't want to have the box for whatever reason. He wanted to make sure it was, I don't know why he did it that way. The box clearly should go horizontal, not vertical, but he put it vertical on our steps, probably to make sure it was really, I don't know why he did it, actually. Who knows? He put it vertical when it's clearly not supposed to be vertical, so everything shifted around, and the CDs were down the bottom, and, you know, I don't know. Even these delivery people don't always think. If it's clearly an Amazon box, it wasn't packed vertically, it was packed horizontally, okay? Your bag is huge. You could just as easily put it vertically on my, you know, and put it horizontally on my steps and wrap the bag all around. Instead, you did it the other way. I don't know why. Maybe that's how it was in your truck. All I know is delivery people do not keep these boxes the way they are packed. You understand? That's a given. Maybe they don't fit in the truck right. They have to be put sideways. But we know damn well. And packers have to think about that. And you don't throw fucking CDs in the plastic cases just haphazardly in these boxes where they can shift all around. Again, when I opened up this box vertically, the CDs were at the very bottom, which means they had been the ones at the very bottom that he had put on my wet steps. Of course, they're wrapped in plastic and whatnot. And then other two CDs were found in with all that other stuff I told you. And one was cracked on the outside through the plastic. Okay, it wasn't put in there that way. It happened in transit. So it's going back. You get a free label from Amazon for damaged, right? Even if it's not damaged. It's going back and getting another one. It's not like that, and they'll have to mail that in just a tiny little box by itself, because that's all it is. The mugs are fine. They're not smashed. What happened to my invoice? Did I throw it out there like an idiot? It stuck to the box, and I put the box out on the deck where I put all the boxes, probably. Oh, what a miserable day. What a miserable day. Get an invoice from Amazon. Huh. What did they check? Do not separate. Okay, no. They're called Anchor Hawking, and they're good. They're good. They're very cheap. I mean, I saw on Amazon one mug for $10. These mugs are like $20, I think, or 20 for 6 of them. It's a fantastic deal. Obviously, we like them because we ordered them again, right? Obviously, clearly, we like them. Where's my invoice? Here's my Vitacost invoice because the beef bone broth was arrived crushed. I was so happy with one huge Vitacost order, and I thought they'd learn, and they are starting to learn a little bit, but not completely. The second order was smaller. It came, you know, that I ordered a week or so later, and that was packed by someone different, and the stuff got crushed. 3 beef bone broths, 2 all Pacific, of course. They're fragile cartons. You got to treat them with kid gloves, and they had them separated from the paper products. They learned in that instance. I thought maybe my account's been noted. Laura, this woman, this customer is not going to accept. She will not accept products in any condition. She wouldn't purchase them in the store. Okay, but they're so fragile. They sent these 3. The oat milk, Pacific organic oat milk, they couldn't send because it's out of stock. So I just got refunded for that. I wanted because I got refunded not much because I had all the discounts, you know, the sales. But these came in a small box, and they still were tiny bit, you know, whatever. It's just really hard. These things just, no matter if they get crushed easily. But I'm not it's only if they're really damaged, mangled. And the ones that came in the first order, they did so good. There were 5 of them in one big box. They put separators, and they had them standing up like wine bottles, and they had them in plastic, and they were perfect. Yeah, it was a huge order. It was absolutely perfect. I had no problems with it at all. It was a miracle. But I wasn't going to tell you guys about it. I didn't want to speak too soon. And lo and behold, the next order I did a couple weeks later, a week later, whenever it was, because first Vitacost had to Black Friday 20% off everything, and then I tried to get a few more things and use that again, and because it was exclusive to my email, they wouldn't let me use the code, which doesn't make sense, because like, I'm just ordering more stuff. What's the difference? I broke it up because I didn't have the money at the time, you know, but whatever. Then they did a new thing, 15 off of 50, which is a real good deal as well. So I ordered a few more things. But that first order, 15 out of 20 of the bone broths. And again, I've seen them for, there's 6 something in the store I go to. I've seen them I've seen them for 7 something, and I get them for a good price, Vita cost. We live off of these bone broths, okay? I make soups all the time. That's all I make is soup in the winter. We eat soup for dinner every night. My mom loves my soups, and they're super, super good for you, super healthy. Even when I boil frozen vegetables, like organic vegetables, I put the water, the broth into the big soup too. It just dilutes the broth a little bit. It's still delicious, and then you get the vitamins from that. Anyhow, and so the first order, 5 of the bone broths, 15 came separate, and they came in their own little box. It was all packed tightly like sardines, and they did nothing wrong. They pristine condition, okay? These nuts, they are a little bit not, but not enough that I would ever complain. They're the replacement ones, and I'm still gonna eat the ones that came crushed, okay? Even this one I shouldn't have accepted. I didn't look. I did look carefully, but I must have missed that wrinkle in it. Anyhow, they you know, those cardboard container specific organic. They have oat milk. They have milks. You know, they have nut milks. They have bone broths. They have regular broths, and they're just so fragile. They're completely fragile. But they came mangled the second time. Mangled. Out of 9, 5 beef bone broths and 4 oat milks. 5 out of the 9 were mangled to the point where I got my money back, which is that I just got replacements. I didn't get my money back. I got replacements for them, and I'm still going to eat the crushed ones. Okay? But I'm not accepting that, and I don't have to as a customer, okay? I don't have to, period. Just like I'm not going to open up this CD to see if it got cracked. It's cracked on the outside, and that's enough to return it and get another one, right? It arrived that way from being thrown into the friggin' box and tossed around. I mean, and you know, it's just common sense. CDs are fragile, non-food items that you don't just throw in a big box and take your chances. They're going to shift all around. In this instance, one got cracked on the outside, and I'm not even going to open it to see if it's cracked on the inside. It's going back as that way, and I'm getting another one. But the second order that arrived, 5 out of 4 out of 9 got mangled. Only 4 were presentable. They weren't perfect, but they were enough that I accepted them. That packer did separate it from the paper macaroni. They separated it from the paper products so they wouldn't, you know, but they piled them on top of each other, and the bottom ones got, you know, you have to stand them upright like the first packer did in the first big order. They piled them on top of each other in plastic, and so the bottom ones got crushed by the top ones. I mean, no. These companies know. They know that a certain percentage of what they deliver is going to get damaged, arrive to the customer damaged, either damaged in transit or because, in which case, you know, you could say, quote, it's the fault, unquote, but it isn't always, just, you know, but it gets damaged in transit, either because it was packed incorrectly or because the delivery people are careless and toss them around too much and, you know, and do stupid things that are periodically featured on Inside Edition and videos that go viral, like the FedEx guy who tossed the friggin' person's monitor. You know, you don't even know what's in these packages, and you're tossing them hard, and they arrive smashed to the customer. It's just ridiculous, okay? And that dog getting crushed because the FedEx person tossed a heavy package over a high fence, and they killed the person's dog, crushed it to death. And it didn't even die instantly. And then some stupid person wrote a comment, well, you know, at least it was euthanized. It wasn't in pain. No, it was still alive and in massive pain before it was put down. You're not realizing that. it would have been better off to have just been crushed to death instantly. The people took it, rushed it to the vets to try to save it, and it was no use. Of course, it suffered horrible pain, and it could have been a little person smashed. It could have even been a big person. It's insanity. And if that person wasn't fired, and if FedEx doesn't crack down on this shit, it's ridiculous. Like, what's it going to take? Someone to be killed? It's been a dog, and like these people said, it's not enough to apologize. It's not enough to say, you know, it keeps happening because you don't crack down. You know? You don't fucking toss a box over a high fence. You don't know who's over that fence. An animal or even a person who can get hit in the fucking head and seriously hurt, like these people said. That could have been our little niece who got, you know, instead of our beloved pet. It's just fucking common sense. I hope to God that idiot got fired. And I also found out that apparently it's not even FedEx employees anymore. It's all contracted out. So even when I've complained, it's not even, they work actually they're contracted out. But you still directly complain to FedEx management who has to talk to their boss. But, you know, maybe at least around here, maybe that's where they get the cocky attitude. I don't know. I just know that, you know, that person who crushed that person's dog isn't learning from it going viral about the FedEx person tossing some person's monitor that got smashed, you know, fragile electric equipment or whatever, and he tosses a freaking package over a fence and crushes the person's dog to death. The dog died a horrible death, okay? It would have been better off to have just died instantly. But it was rushed to the hospital and had to be put down. And this just happened. It was on Inside Edition, and, you know, one would hope. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to take a person getting seriously hurt. Because, like those people said, it could have been our niece, our little girl, our little, you know, that got smashed in the head with that package, carelessly tossed over a high fence, and you don't know who is behind there. You can't see, and you're tossing it over a high fence. You better have fucking gotten fired, you goddamn fucking imbecile. God. Where does it end? I posted some good comments under these videos. Where does it fucking end, you know? I was appalled by that. I'm hardly the only one. Because again, it's been in the news, it's been about FedEx or other drivers or whatever tossing equipment and stuff inside, don't know what it is, and I see it on Inside Edition and videos, and they toss it and it smashes. And then this person does the same thing, heavy box, but over a high fence, and crushed a person's little dog that was behind there. Just doing his, you know, it's sickening. God, is that sickening. If that doesn't make, you know, crack down on this bullshit, I don't know if anything will. It's sickening. It's fucking sickening. It's beyond sickening. And I'll tell anybody I want. I told the guy that was telling me I didn't have to return the TV that was left out in the rain. He's like, I said, did you hear about that? He's like, no, I wish you didn't tell me. Oh, well, tough luck. I'm going to tell everybody. Spread the news.